The air in the greenhouse was thick with the scent of flowers and expensive perfume. I walked in, holding a small gift for my sister Lauren. My heart held a tiny, foolish hope. Maybe today, at her pre-wedding photo shoot, she would finally see me as part of her family. That hope died instantly. Lauren's eyes, cold and critical, scanned me from head to toe. "Kimberly," she said, her voice loud enough for everyone to hear. The bridesmaids, her fiancé Mark, and the photographer all turned. "What are you wearing? Your entire aesthetic is ruining the photos." My simple blue dress suddenly felt like a crime. Before I could speak, she pointed to the door. "Just go sit outside until we're done. I can't have you in the shots." A hot wave of shame washed over me. I turned and walked out, my cheeks burning. As the glass door swung shut, I heard the photographer say, "Wait, who booked this venue again?" I stood on the other side of the glass, feeling like a ghost. I could see the perfect scene inside, Lauren laughing, adjusting her dress, everyone orbiting around her. My eyes stung, but I refused to let the tears fall. Then, the voices inside grew louder. The photographer, a calm-looking man named Alex, was speaking firmly. "I just need to confirm the name on the reservation for my records." Lauren's laugh was sharp. "It's mine, of course. Lauren Miller." Alex's voice was polite but insistent. "My system shows a different name for the booking and payment." I held my breath, pressing closer to the glass. A silence fell. Then, I heard my own full legal name spoken clearly, Kimberly Miller. The glass door opened, and Alex stepped out. His expression was unreadable. "Kimberly, can we talk for a moment?" Alex led me a few steps away from the door for privacy. "I'm sorry for the confusion," he began, holding his tablet. "But according to my contract and payment records, this entire venue booking is in your name. It was also paid in full from your account." I felt the world tilt. Then I remembered. Months ago, Lauren had sent me a link, saying it was so complicated and could I just help her secure the date. She'd asked for my email. I'd done it, typing in my password without a second thought, a habit formed from a lifetime of being the reliable older sister. I had paid the deposit, assuming she'd pay me back. She never did. I did book it, I admitted, my voice barely a whisper. She asked me to. Just then, Lauren stormed out, her face a mask of fury. "What are you telling him? Give me the booking, Kimberly. You always ruin everything. Hand it over or I'm canceling you from the wedding entirely." Lauren's words hung in the air, sharp and cruel. For years, I had bent over backwards for her. I'd covered her rent, babysat her friends' kids, been her on-call crisis manager. I had always said yes. But standing there, after being publicly banished, something inside me snapped. "No," I said. The word was quiet but firm. Lauren stared at me, stunned. "What did you say?" I said no, I repeated, my voice growing stronger. "You don't get to kick me out and then demand what's mine." The bridesmaids had gathered by the door, watching the scene. Lauren's eyes widened in disbelief. "After all I've done for you? After everything our family has done for you?" She was rewriting history right in front of everyone. In a rage, she pulled out her phone. "Fine. Let's see what Mom has to say about this." She dialed and put the phone on speaker. I heard our mother's voice, tinny and sharp. "Lauren? What's going on?" Lauren cried, "Mom, Kimberly is trying to sabotage my photo shoot." Our mother's response was immediate. "Put Kimberly on. Now." Lauren thrust the phone toward me, a triumphant sneer on her face. "Kimberly? What is this nonsense?" Our mother's voice scolded through the speaker. "Your sister's big day, and you're causing drama? Just do what she says. Stop acting like you matter so much right now." Those words, "you matter so much," felt like a physical blow. They confirmed my deepest fear. In this family, I didn't. I looked at Lauren's smug face, at the curious stares of the bridesmaids, and at Mark, who simply looked at the ground. The last thread of my composure broke. I reached out, but instead of taking the phone, I ended the call. The silence was deafening. Lauren was speechless. Alex, the photographer, who had been observing quietly, stepped forward. He looked directly at me and asked, "Do you want to continue this session, cancel it, or change things?" All eyes were on me. I could cancel everything. I had the legal right to bring her perfect day crashing down. But that felt like her kind of weapon, not mine. A strange calm settled over me. "The booking is in my name," I stated, not to Lauren, but to Alex. "So, it's my session. And I've decided I'd like to use it." Lauren gasped. "You wouldn't dare." I ignored her. "Alex, could we do a session for me? Just a solo shoot." A genuine smile touched his lips. "Of course. The light is perfect right now." As Alex directed me to a beautiful spot draped in ivy, Lauren stood frozen, her face pale with a rage I had never seen before. She pulled out her phone again, hissing, "You'll be sorry for this." Then she spat out a threat that made my blood run cold, "I'm calling my lawyer." Alex had just started taking test shots when Lauren marched back in, followed by a man in a suit she must have called from her car. "This is my lawyer," she announced, though he looked more like a flustered family friend. "Kimberly, you are trespassing and stealing my photo shoot." I took a deep breath, the camera lens somehow giving me strength. "Lauren, can you show him the contract? Or any proof that you paid for this?" She faltered. "You know Mother helped me, but the contract is not in your name, and the payment didn't come from your account," I said calmly. "Can you show him a single receipt?" She could only sputter, her lies exposed in front of her friends and fiancé. Mark finally looked up, his expression one of dawning realization. Lauren saw his look and her fury exploded. "If you walk away with my photos, you're out of the wedding. For good." Her words should have hurt. Being her maid of honor was supposed to be an honor. But all I felt was a profound emptiness. I looked at my sister, truly looked at her. I saw the spoiled, entitled stranger she had become, and I knew I couldn't be part of her world anymore. I didn't say a word. I simply nodded to Alex, gathered my purse, and walked toward the exit. I didn't look back at Lauren's shocked face or the silent bridesmaids. I pushed the greenhouse door open and stepped into the afternoon sun. The door clicked shut behind me, a final sound. I felt shattered, like a piece of glass. But with that break came a strange, quiet feeling. For the first time, I was free from trying to win her approval. I drove home in a daze. That night, as I sat in the dark, my phone lit up. It was a voicemail from Mark. "Kimberly, hey. I am so sorry about today. Lauren, she's not herself. There's more going on. Things she's been hiding." Mark's voicemail was hesitant, full of regret. I called him back. His voice was low, as if he was hiding. "I didn't know about the venue," he said. "But this isn't the first time, Kimberly. She's used your credit for other things." "Not illegally," she said, "because you gave her access once in college to buy a textbook, remember? But she never stopped. She's been using it for small online purchases for years." My stomach dropped. "And Kimberly," he continued, his voice thick with shame, she brags about it. To her friends. She calls it her Kimberly tax. She says you're so easy to manipulate into paying for things. I hung up, my hands trembling. I grabbed my laptop and logged into my bank and shopping accounts. I scrolled through months, then years, of statements. There they were. Dozens of small charges, for clothes, for accessories, for fancy lunches. The world tilted. It wasn't a mistake. It was a pattern of theft. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. A cold, hard clarity took over. I spent the next hour methodically removing her access from every account. I changed passwords, deleted her saved payment information, and revoked her authorization on the one shared app we had. Each click felt like building a wall around myself, a wall she could no longer cross. I was taking back what was mine. As I finished, my phone buzzed violently. It was a text from Lauren. "How dare you cut me off from the accounts? You are a selfish, horrible sister. You'll regret turning on me. You have no one but us." 2 days later, our mother called. "Kimberly, we need to talk. As a family. Please come over for dinner." Her voice was calm, which I should have known was a warning. I went, a naive part of me hoping for understanding. The moment I walked in, I felt the ambush. My mother, my aunt, and Lauren were seated like a tribunal. Lauren had been crying, her eyes red-rimmed. "Kimberly," my mother began, "Lauren says you've frozen her out and are refusing to help with the wedding after you embarrassed her at the photo shoot." They spent an hour attacking me, listing my failures as a sister. I sat silently, letting their words wash over me. When there was a pause, I stood up to leave. My mother looked at me, disappointed. "Where are you going? I thought you were the dependable one." "I guess we were wrong. You were never dependable anyway." The words echoed in my head as I drove away. I pulled over, tears finally streaming down my face. They weren't tears of sadness, but of release. The final thread of illusion had snapped. I saw the pattern clearly now. My entire life, my worth was only measured by what I could provide for them. My kindness was my weakness, my reliability was their weapon. I cried for the sister I never had, for the family that never was. But when the tears stopped, a new strength filled the emptiness. My phone chimed. It was an email from Alex, the photographer. The subject line read, "Final invoice for wedding photography, balance due." I opened the email, my heart pounding. Had I accidentally been billed? But Alex's message was apologetic. "Kimberly, I'm so sorry to bother you. After you left, Lauren demanded several premium upgrades, additional hours, a second photographer, and a luxury album. Per our conversation and the contract, you are not responsible. The final invoice is now correctly addressed to Lauren Miller. I'm just sending you a copy for your records." The amount at the bottom was staggering. She had tried to spend even more of my money after throwing me out. Moments later, my phone rang. It was Lauren, hysterical. "You have to pay this. You ruined the original shoot, so you owe me this. If you don't pay, the wedding is ruined and it will be your fault." Her screams were so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. When she paused to breathe, my voice was eerily calm. "Lauren, the contract is with you." Alex confirmed it. "I am not paying for anything. I'll tell everyone you're a thief. I'll destroy your reputation," she shrieked. "You do what you have to do," I said quietly. Then I hung up. I blocked her number. The silence was blissful. An hour later, my phone rang again. It was Mark. His voice was a worried whisper. "Kimberly? I think Lauren is spiraling. She's saying you stole from her, but I think she's blaming you for something much bigger." I met Mark at a quiet coffee shop. He looked exhausted. "I started looking into our joint wedding account," he confessed. "The money is gone, Kimberly. Almost all of it. She told me she was paying vendors, but when I called them, most said they'd only received a deposit, from you, for the photo shoot venue. The rest, she spent. On clothes, on bags, on who knows what." He put his head in his hands. "She was just waiting for you to step in and fix it. That's why she melted down at the photo shoot. It wasn't just about the pictures. She was desperate for you to take control and pay for everything, like you always do." "I don't know if I can marry her," Mark whispered, his eyes full of fear and confusion. "This person. I don't know her. Kimberly, please, help me understand. Has she always been like this?" For a moment, I wanted to spill everything, to list every hurt. But I wouldn't. That would make me like her. I can only tell you my experience, Mark, I said gently. And my experience is that I have always been expected to give, and she has always been encouraged to take. He nodded slowly, absorbing this. I need to know the full truth, he said, a new determination in his voice. I'm going to do a full review of all our accounts and the vendor contracts. A few days later, Mark called me. His voice was grim. It's worse than I thought. She created fake email confirmations from vendors to show me. The florist, the caterer, the band, none of them are fully booked. The deposits I thought were paid were never sent. She's been lying to me for months. The scale of her deception was staggering. She had built her dream wedding on a foundation of lies, fully expecting me to be the one to finance it at the last minute. Later that evening, I got a text from an unknown number. It was Lauren. You turned him against me. You've always been jealous of me. You've destroyed my life. An hour later, there was a furious pounding on my apartment door. Lauren was outside, her face streaked with mascara. Let me in, Kimberly. We need to talk, she screamed, her voice slurred. You have to fix this. Talk to Mark. I stood silently behind the door, my heart hammering. I did not open it. She eventually slid to the floor, sobbing, then screaming curses until my neighbor threatened to call the police. She left, but the silence didn't last. My phone rang. It was my mother. Her voice was cold. Lauren just left here. She's hysterical. She says you poisoned Mark against her and ruined the wedding. What have you done? I didn't get defensive. I didn't raise my voice. I simply laid out the facts, one by one, like stones. I told her about the venue contract in my name. I told her about the hidden credit card charges over the years. I told her about the missing wedding funds, the fake vendor emails, and the massive photography bill Lauren had tried to stick me with. There was a long, heavy silence on the other end of the line. I heard my mother take a shaky breath. For the first time in my life, she had no immediate excuse, no defense for Lauren. I didn't know, she finally whispered, her voice small. Mark just called me. He canceled the rehearsal dinner. He said the wedding might be off. The family foundation cracked. My mother, forced to see the truth, was thrown into turmoil. She tried to talk to Lauren, who responded with more lies and rage. My phone buzzed with texts from extended family, confused and asking for my side of the story. I didn't reply. I stayed silent and distant, a rock in the river of their chaos. I focused on my work, on my own life. A text came from Mark. I'm meeting with Lauren tonight to end it. I think you should know. I'm going to tell her everything. I don't know exactly what was said in that conversation. Mark only told me later that he laid it all out, the financial lies, the manipulation, the way she treated me. He told her he couldn't marry someone so dishonest and cruel. He said her reaction was to scream my name, blaming me for brainwashing him. The next morning, I received a text from Lauren. It was no longer angry, but pleading. Kimberly, please. You're my sister. You have to talk to Mark. You have to make him understand. If you don't help me, the wedding is off. I have nothing left. I read her message and felt a profound sense of peace. This was the final test. The old Kimberly would have rushed in, trying to soothe and fix. The new Kimberly knew that fixing her messes was what created this monster. I typed my reply carefully. Lauren, I love you, and I always will because you are my sister. But I will no longer set myself on fire to keep you warm. I will no longer sacrifice my own happiness and well-being to fix the consequences of your choices. This is your life. You need to learn how to live it. I pressed send. The next day, my phone rang. It was Alex, the photographer. Hi Kimberly, I hope you're well, Alex said. I just wanted to let you know that Lauren tried to call our studio and illegally change the primary name on the contract back to hers, claiming you had stolen her identity. I gasped. Don't worry, he quickly added. We have everything documented. The whole staff knows the story now, and we refused. We take contract law very seriously. He chuckled softly. On a brighter note, your solo prints are ready. And we'd like to give them to you, and a future session, free of charge. Consider it professional courtesy. I thanked him, touched by his kindness. Later that evening, Mark texted. Can I see you? I have something to tell you. We met at the same coffee shop. Mark looked tired, but calm. It's over, he said. The engagement is off. I told her and your parents everything. I'm so sorry, Kimberly. I'm sorry for not seeing it sooner, and for everything she put you through. I should have listened when you walked out of that greenhouse. He apologized for the role he played by staying silent. He planned to send a clear, honest email to the wedding guests, taking responsibility for his decision. I finally felt truly seen. As I drove home, my phone buzzed. It was a final text from Lauren. I hope you're happy. Everyone hates me now. You won. I held my phone, looking at her words. This wasn't about winning. It was about survival. I typed my final message to her. I'm not happy about any of this. I'm sad. I'm sad that our relationship came to this. I hope one day you can understand that this wasn't my doing. Your choices led you here. I didn't wait for a reply. That weekend, I hung the beautiful prints from my solo photo shoot in my living room. In them, I looked peaceful and strong. It was a new beginning. My mother started calling, her tone softer, actually asking about my life. The family was slowly learning to respect the boundaries I had built. Lauren's downfall was tragic, but it was built by her own hands. My victory was quiet, moral, and clean. Months later, I visited the greenhouse again, just to sit and read a book. When I left, I closed the same door I had once been told to sit outside of. This time, I closed it by choice, walking away toward a future that was entirely my own.